as always, by my fantastic hosts, Eric, Ryan, and Bones. I almost said Clark because I recently spent some time with Clark, who we miss on the show, but we are
Yeah.
definitely glad to have Bones still. So please don't take that too personal. I almost just straight up was like, Clark. I was like, that's not right.
How is
So
she
yeah,
doing?
welcome. Good, good. Yeah,
How's the
her and the
kid?
baby, huge. That is a big baby. Like she gave birth to a gargantuan child. Um, and he has zero stranger danger. So my son is kind of like standoffish towards new people till he gets to know them. Her baby's just like, yeah, whatever. Like whoever's holding me better have food because as soon as you're out, I'm gone.
Hmm,
So yeah.
makes sense.
He made his most important decision of childhood. They put out the original 3 starter Pokemon for him. He chose Squirtle. So he is currently up for adoption if anybody wants a baby.
Ugh,
No, I'm just
makes
kidding. They wouldn't
sense.
do that. Grandma had wanted him to pick Squirtle. Clark, obviously Charmander. I was rooting for Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is my
Yeah.
favorite starter, just mechanically speaking, just from a straight meta perspective. Bulbasaur's the smart pick.
I've always been a
But yeah,
Bulbasaur man. I want to say they crunched the numbers a little while back, and Squirtle ended up coming out as like the meta choice by a pretty significant margin. I don't
but
recall
I
though.
digress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's because you
Clark's
got the
baby has
rock
chosen
gym early.
Squirtle. We did something similar with Alan, and he chose none of them. So he's just not a Pokemon guy, I guess.
Yeah.
He did go get his tractor, so I guess he'll be playing Harvest Moon instead of Pokemon.
Yeah. Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's such a good game. But I digress. Let's jump into our nerdy news before we start our Halloween of Halloween.
I'm excited for this episode, man. It's gonna be good.
Who wants to start us off on
Uh,
nerdy news?
I'll
so
go ahead and start us off. Mine's pretty short and sweet.
Yeah, what you
So
got?
there's not a lot going on in the unplugged verse. I know that's normally where I put most of my news. However, we did get some interesting uh, happenings in and around Baldur's Gate 3. Larian Studios made a public announcement not too long ago that they were, discontinuing any additional content. Baldur's Gate 3 was done. They're calling it good.
Yep.
That ended up not being for things like quality of life. There was recently just a major update for quality of life changes, specifically on the Xbox. And the news part of it was apparently somebody at Microsoft leaked that Baldur's Gate 3 would be coming to Xbox Play Anywhere very, very soon. And so I know that's been kind of a fan outcry. Everybody should be really excited. Baldur's Gate 3 coming to Xbox Play Anywhere and still getting quality of life and fixes. So,
And it's such a good game. Still, like it's still such a good game.
yeah, solid. I play it every now and then just for a little bit.
What you got, Eric?
So they released the new games coming up next month for PlayStation Plus. We're getting Stray, EA Sports WRC 24, and Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. None of
Totally
Stray
them.
is
accurate battle simulator sounds like a thrilling game.
Um,
Stray actually was a very surprising game for me. That was very good. I enjoyed Stray quite a lot.
I didn't play any of them. I mean, I'm currently embedded into Cyberpunk again, playing through it, and Bloodlines. So those are my two current games that are running. I I've heard interesting things about Bloodlines too. So if it goes on sale, I'll get it. But
Yes, why not?
otherwise, I might not.
Bones, you got some nerdy news to
Yeah, I
jump
got
in on?
few things. So you go ahead, just in case you're gonna mention something I got. So
I was going to talk about season 4 of The Witcher has released on Netflix.
Oh,
Reviews coming in are barbaric. Uh,
oh no.
yeah, it's getting eviscerated. The showrunner has preemptively made a comment about how everyone should get to enjoy every version of The Witcher that comes out, and there was also another little thing where there was like, well, we've really enjoyed working with Hemsworth because he's much more emotive and things like that for the character of Geralt. And everyone's like, he doesn't need to be emotive. He's supposed to not have feelings. That's part of being a Witcher.
Yeah.
So Yeah, we're already blaming the audience for bad reviews, and it hasn't even been out for 24 hours.
I mean,
So-
that's the new trick, right? It's obviously
yeah,
because
it's
of
obviously the
some
fandom's
audience
fault.
agenda. Yeah.
Not because everyone was upset when Henry Cavill left, and everyone
I-
talked about how doomed it was from the moment he left. That couldn't be possibly it at all. It's
I have no problem really with them replacing an actor in a show, right? If they do the right replacement. But to turn around and just be like, we got somebody that was way more emotive, and I'm like, that's not
Not
Geralt.
what you needed,
That's not
man.
who Geralt is. That's not.
I think they
he
just made a really
does.
big mistake when they had a character established with an actor that everybody liked. It'd be like
Yeah.
if Marvel was like, hey, Ryan Reynolds, you're not Deadpool anymore.
Right.
Yeah, especially that soon. You know, it's one thing when you wait a significant amount of time and then.
That was one of the things I wanted to mention, so I'm glad you went.
Yeah, we doubled up. Yeah, on. I
Couple
haven't
game
watched it, so I'm
things.
not gonna personally
I
say
haven't watched
anything
it
bad
either.
about it because I haven't watched any episodes. But oof, it's getting
not
eviscerated.
looking good.
couple game things for the cozy gamers out there. Animal Crossing is getting a new patch, 3.0 or something.
Hey,
I don't
fantastic.
play myself, but my wife was super excited when she was reading the patch notes. So apparently doing a lot of things that people have been wanting for a while. Microsoft announced they are remaking Halo Combat Evolved. I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll also be on PlayStation. It is no longer going to be an Xbox exclusive.
Very excited about that.
And then finally, the one, Absolute Batman Annual #1 came out, and man, it is a wild ride.
That good, huh?
Batman definitely breaks his no-kill rule
Good.
Okay.
with a flamethrower and a lot of white supremacists.
Flamethrower is definitely a big
I'm
step up
sold.
from the no kill rule. That's a big jump.
Yeah,
That's not like
he probably kills quite a few people in that one. I'm pretty sure.
that's
very
yeah. That goes
violent.
beyond like blunt force trauma to probably one of the most horrendous ways to get somebody.
I recommend it. Highly recommend it. Very good read.
Annual #1. I'll be picking that one up for sure.
Everybody loves a good Batman story. Like I said, the no kill rule being gone is definitely wild.
I mean, if you
That's
remember in the
the-
beginning, like we talked about, he had a gun as his first like utility thing. So going back to its roots,
Yeah.
mowing people down. I mean, Peacemaker did call him out in his show, so
Yeah.
like he doesn't have a coterie of villains because he just kills them. Yeah, then they can't get out of Arkham and kill anybody else. Oh,
Yep.
I
Sure would
still-
save a lot of time.
My favorite scene from Peacemaker is still the one where he's talking to the sidekick guy. I forget his name suddenly. Vigilante.
Vigilante.
Yep.
He's like, 2 rules, 2. Yes or no. Don't be a fucking idiot.
Oh, you want to know a fun fact about Vigilante?
Always.
The body of the guy and the character, the guy that actually plays him with the mask off, when he has the mask on, a lot of that is not actually him because they hired a different actor originally, and they like fired him like
Interesting.
after they had shot a lot of stuff.
Oh.
And so then they hired this new guy, and then he did like they reshot all of the face off, like mask off stuff with him, and he voiced over all of the mask on stuff, but it's like not his body most of the time.
Oh, wild.
Interesting. Good to know. I'm surprised
Yeah.
they can get John Cena on film so often because you can't see him.
I mean, that's very hard. The wonders of technology.
Yeah.
CGI.
they do get
He's
him in his
CGI'd
underwear a lot.
every
It's kind of
scene.
weird.
That's also a Peacemaker like that became the gimmick after the Suicide Squad scene where he was in his tidy whities and then everyone was getting a good laugh about it, so they just kind of bit into the gimmick, which I love when shows do, where they're just like, we're listening to fan feedback, here's more ridiculous stuff that you guys were a fan of. But with that, we're jumping into our Halloween of Halloween. We're talking about one of the most
Ooh.
iconic oh, go ahead.
We got to read some stuff.
You threw up that booger picker real fast.
I know. I want to make sure we read it. So last week we did wrestling, just current things
Yes.
going on with it. And one thing we talked about that we hit on has been talked about on other shows and just other people in general. Looking at John Cena, not John Cena, Jesus, Cody
Cody
Rhodes is like
Rhodes.
a more kind of boring champion, like vanilla. Not that he's bad. Like I don't know why people took it as like bad, but like
He's just not exciting. He's just not really
exciting. So some comments were made. Hit Boy, which is HITT_BBOY. Really can't believe people saying that he's awful. What a shame being a wrestling fan. Julio Cesbenoza 28 agreed. Yeah, is boring. Global known, yes, or just says Cody Rhodes boring. And Ian Alexander says it's beyond time to move on from Cody. He's awful. Now, I would just like to say I don't think he's great, but I also don't think he's that bad. He's just not exciting. Like he's not like
he's the safe choice. He's the safest choice that you can make for a babyface champion. I would like him to take a little time away, like to drop the title and then come back as a heel. I would be down for a heel run, Cody Rhodes. But
he kind of reminds me of Bret Hart.
I didn't get the writing job. No, he advocates for himself backstage way better than Bret Hart ever did.
Yeah, but I mean, like on screen and stuff like that. Like I didn't find Bret Hart to be an exciting person when he was
Cody,
champion. Like
that's gonna get into a here or there debate.
But yeah, so we didn't think he was awful as a wrestler, folks. I'm sorry if we came across that way.
He's good in the ring. He's just not very exciting. He's not an exciting guy.
He's boring. That's it. No awful. No can't wrestle. No fucking anything else. Just blah.
It'd be like
now we can do some stuff. Yeah.
Now it's time for Halloween of Halloween.
Before we get into that, if everybody's listening this far, we have a very exciting topic tonight. One of the things that makes it where we can do this kind of thing is your engagement. So I'm going to go ahead and give you all the fun algorithm stuff and ask you to give us a like, give us a comment, let us know what you think about the upcoming topic. And most importantly, give us a follow because we know the way. So I hope to see you guys in and around every week. But Halloween of Halloween.
Halloween of Halloween. We'll, of course, be talking about the movie franchise. Started in 70s, late 70s?
1978.
1978 with the John Carpenter films. There is also, who are the other directors? Thorne and...
Oh, I don't know.
I had this pulled up just a minute ago.
Rob Zombie.
Is that a joke or is that real?
No, he made 2 movies.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I thought... I was like, Rob Zombie, like...
He made 2 Halloween
movies. He's a musician.
Oh, wow. There's 9 different directors.
Yeah.
So we have John Carpenter,
well, there's 13
Rob Zombie,
films.
Tommy Lee Wallace, David Gordon Green, Rick Rosenthal, Joe Chappelle, Dwight Little, Dominique Othenen-Gerard, I guarantee you I said that wrong, and Steve Miner.
Not to be confused with Steve Majors, who is a completely different person. And outranks Miners.
But yeah, it is definitely a well-established franchise at this point. One of the go-to immediate classics when it comes to spooky season movies. I mean, it's right there in the name. And is got a wild history, if you ask me. Some of the funnest trivia that's come out, especially over the entire run of the franchise. I'm actually going to start off giving some credit that gets ignored a lot. And I'm going to talk about the Halloween theatrical release posters, because that is some of the most iconic now Halloween art that we find in any franchise, originally done by Robert Gleason. And I think really was a major assist in getting Halloween out when it did.
I mean, Halloween, the original, like outproduced, like it made a lot more money than what it cost to make it. I mean, it's ridiculous as to the difference with that. It was such a successful movie, the original.
It was from an independent studio too. I don't even think a major studio had it picked up.
Have you ever looked into like how that movie ended up getting made? It has got a whole slew of bizarre details. So firstly, it was written and filmed entirely in 1978. In fact, it was only filmed over the course of about 21 days. The Myers house that was dominantly featured throughout the 1978 film was actually an abandoned house that was owned by a local church. And they did all of this filming in the middle of May. And so spring was rolling into summer. And one of the most frustrating parts about the entire shoot was the fact that they had to bring in recycled and artificial leaves to scatter around to make it look like it's fall. That had to be
It was like
raked up and
it was in
reused
May.
every shot. Yeah.
Yeah, when they
May in
filmed it.
Pasadena, California.
Yep.
Ah,
in
God, I
Pasadena,
bet that-
California.
I bet those coveralls and that rubber mask was hot.
But yeah, no, and so they had to reuse all their leaves, and of course it was May in Pasadena, California, and so they couldn't find pumpkins. And so throughout the entire movie, there's only one real pumpkin that was used, and that's in one of the opening shots when the kid has it and falls on it and crushes it. That's the only real pumpkin they used. The rest were like gourds and painted watermelons and shit that they had to acquire in the local area.
But yeah, you're right. It was an independent film. It's actually considered one of the most profitable independent films because they figure it was about 300 to 325,000 to make it, and it grossed about 70 million worldwide.
The only
So I think they made some money.
the
Yeah,
only
somebody-
fact I know about the Halloween movies is the mask originally was like a rubber William Shatner mask.
Yeah, Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Yep, just turned inside out.
With the inflation calculations that grossing of the original movie would be about 227.5 million in our monies.
So definitely not bad at all. It's all.
No, they did good. I mean, someone probably got a nice pay raise off of that.
And of course, let's not forget that it did act as a springboard for a 19-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis, which went on to be one of the most prolific actresses all the way through the 80s, 90s, and into 2000s.
Still a babe.
Still a babe.
Still good looking. Oh man.
Yep.
And it's funny that the most known film for her is always going to be Halloween, even though she's done so much
Oh yeah.
Has she
in,
been in
like,
anything since? I don't
in the
know.
industry. Either that or
What?
Baywatch. It's like either Halloween or Baywatch. It's one of the two. Wasn't she
See,
in Baywatch?
I feel like
I
when
don't
you say
think
Jamie
so.
Lee Curtis, Halloween's gonna come up. That's definitely the one that like jumps into my mind. Now, some of the younger generations are probably gonna go into like Freaky Friday, right? And that just had a recent remake or sequel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they're doing another one, yeah. Or did another one recently?
Yeah, I think it
but
had
yeah,
like a sequel or something recently.
when I think Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm always gonna think Lori fighting off big scary man in a blue jumpsuit.
True Lies.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, True Lies is good.
Interesting movie to say the least.
So yeah, I mean, you're talking with a $300,000 budget that came out to a $70 million box office, which Bones, you said, was nearly 300 million box office. That's got to be one of the most successful independent films of all time. And John Carpenter went on after that to do some really groundbreaking shit. I actually just recently rewatched Halloween so I could make sure I had everything up to date for tonight's episode, right? And one of the things that stood out to me was there is a scene in the movie where Jamie Lee Curtis's character Laurie sits down with the kids and they're watching The Thing. Now, John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the most famous movies he's ever made, but it didn't come out until like in 1982 or 84.
Yeah, 82.
82. So 4 years after Halloween, and what they were watching was the 1950s serial, I guess. That John Carpenter's The Thing completely squashed out of awareness. I wasn't even aware it was a thing until yesterday.
Ah, thing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's so many weird little details with the first Halloween that just kind of stand out to me as like it never should have been made. I mean, $300,000 was a shoestring budget. Not much in the way of well-known actors to be placed or to act as hooks. And now it's considered an absolute spooky season classic, watched every year.
I mean, it was the starting point for a lot of like the things that have come since then. Like when Scream did the big, like, what has to be in a horror movie.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, most of it started in Halloween.
Well, you look,
So-
I'm wearing my Jason shirt right now. Friday the 13th. You sit down and listen to the interview with those guys, and they'll tell you straight up, like, we were just trying to rip off Halloween. Like, it's all we were trying to do.
So now I have trouble remembering. Horror is not my preferred genre of film. I will watch them, but it's not something I'm as passionate about as others here. But is Halloween the one that has the like piano entrance to
Yes.
it? Yeah.
In
Ooh, fun
fact,
fact. Fun fact. Yeah, the music is 5/4 instead of 4/4. And so
Mhm.
it just like inherently feels wrong when you're listening to it. People aren't.
It always
used to
feels.
That's,
I always get the vibe that it's like I feel rushed listening to that piano deal. It's also in a I believe it's in a minor chord too. If I remember
absolutely,
correctly
yeah.
on that. Yeah. I
Well, and the
think
way that
I'm
it
not
was
100% on that.
used
Hold on.
was actually very old school, right? Like they decided to throw back to the old like Bela Lugosi days when it came to the music and the score. And so you get the Halloween really identifiable piano piece every time that Myers is on screen, even if he's just driving by in a car. And the whole thing is very much pinned to you're uncomfortable and you should know that something dangerous is nearby. And while it's very heavy-handed, I actually think it's fantastic. Where that just starts playing every time the bad guy's on screen. I think it's freaking cool.
I didn't realize that John Carpenter had wrote that score.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a composer.
But that is just the first of all of the movies. Naturally, we have a whole bunch we need to kind of get through, and so
And
let's go ahead
several
and
different timelines and alternate universes.
yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about our big bad guy. Right? They're the ones everybody wants to hear about in the horror movies. Let's talk about Michael Myers. Now, in the first one, very little history is given about Michael Myers. We know he's a sociopath that murdered his like sister or babysitter.
Yeah, and they sent
Um,
him off to like Evergreen Psychiatric or whatever from whence
indeed.
he escaped.
And so beyond that, he has no lines in the film. In fact, according to the story, I can't confirm this 100%, but according to the story, the guy that ended up playing Michael Myers in the first Halloween film wasn't even an actor. He had like showed up on set to pick somebody up for lunch, and they were just like, "You're tall, go stand over there." And that's why he has no lines throughout the entire movie.
I've heard that as well. I also cannot confirm that it's true, but I have heard that as well.
I mean, he doesn't need lines. That's what makes him
That's what
what
makes
he
him good.
is.
No, this guy
Like
this guy had been an
each
actor before.
if you look at each one of the horror genres, like each one had their thing that made them who they are. And like the big thing with him was always like the not talking and stuff like that, like
Yeah,
the silence and stuff.
I actually think I
Everybody
agree.
had their thing.
Yeah,
Well,
he was in Dark Star. He was a
Oh, he was in another one of West not West Carpenter's films.
he was also in Escape from New
Dark Star was.
York.
nice.
So he's in several of Carpenter's films.
Yeah, and Halloween too. So yeah, this guy's got some pretty significant acting credits.
You gotta love Escape. Great movie.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we got Mike Myers. His whole lineup, his whole deal was fairly simple, right? We had blue coveralls, an inside-out William Shatner Halloween mask, and a kitchen knife.
And it was spray painted.
Yeah. And so with that, we have a silent antagonist bent on destruction that really, for me, one of his title things is he really can't be killed, at least through the first movie, right? He ends up getting shocked, stabbed, stabbed in the face, stabbed in the neck, and then knocked out of a two-story building after getting shot 6 times, and then just disappears. Not a blood stain to be found.
Evil can't die.
Evil can't die. Can't kill the boogeyman.
Exactly. So that's the big thing. Like with him
Right.
is it makes it so interesting. That's the one like gimmicky thing that goes with it. And if you look like Carpenter and I think it's Deborah Hill who like co-wrote it with him, like they really wanted to play on a lot of the Sam Hain type stuff when they made the movie. So it does make sense that he doesn't die. Even though everyone else can die and like most of the other things were normal, it was almost like he was ritualistically like kept alive in a sense. It's pretty cool.
So there's 2 actors that played him. There was Anthony Moran and I said the other guy's name a second ago. Now I've already forgot, but I digress. Both of them were not established actors, but had acted before. Moran didn't originally want to take the part because it was pretty like undeveloped, like
low
unrefined. They were
budget
just like,
independent film.
yeah, and so he finally, when he got confirmation that Donald Pleasance was also going to be involved in the film, he was like, "All right, fine, I'll do it." And that was that. He was paid $250.
Oh man. All right.
I would have been in that
and
movie
he was
for
the
that.
one that played the unmasked adult Michael Myers. So the guy that played The Shape, which was what was his name? Nick Castle played the masked Michael Myers, who also had a pretty significant series of acting credits to his name.
So we're talking about his supernatural toughness. I think that is a good way to start talking about some of the different timelines, because it's different actually in the different timelines. So the original, or the Thorn timeline as they call it, is Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, it skips Season of the Witch.
Yeah, Season of the Witch
It's unrelated.
There's no Michael Myers in Season of the
Yeah.
Witch.
It's completely
Fair point.
unrelated to the rest of
But
them.
5 and 6 add the Cult of the Thorn, which they perform a ritual that makes Michael Myers unkillable. He's like cursed, and he has to go kill his family to complete the ritual. So that's why that all is supposedly like that, according to those last two movies in that original timeline.
Well, and
Which
all
is-
this spawning off the idea that Carpenter just wanted
5
evil
films
can't be
total, I
killed.
think.
And so
The Thorn timeline's Halloween 1, Halloween 2, 4, 5, and Curse, right?
Yeah, Curse of Michael Myers, which is 6 for
all intents and purpose.
Yeah. Because it's
'Cause-
the
'cause
1995.
three-
So it's that's like the original, 7 movies at the time, but we don't, or 6 movies at the time, but we don't count 3, right? So, because they
And we're not
wanted,
gonna talk about
they made
three.
3 actually. So they made 3 because they wanted to make a Halloween themed anthology series, but just nobody likes it. So
Gotcha.
I'm about to look up its Rotten Tomato rating just to see how bad it was.
I'm trying to think of. I know I've seen it, but I can't remember it.
I haven't seen it. I saw. I think the last one I watched. Actually, no, I did see the most recent one.
Oh dear.
Season of the Witch is 30% on both audience and critic score.
It's not often
Solid.
that everybody
You
agrees
know what?
on
Yeah,
anything.
Yeah,
That's-
like the highest its rating is like so the Tomato Meter review comes out at 48, Popcorn Meter 31. I'm not seeing anyone rate this above like a 55.
You know what? That's the second time it's happened to me this season. And it gets into a whole 2 nickels situation, right? Where it's like, oh, if I had a nickel for every time a horror movie sequel had nothing to do with the original, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it happened twice. And so we have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which has nothing to do with the Halloween franchise whatsoever. Me and my friends are actually going through a bad horror movie theme this year for Halloween season. And we just watched Troll and Troll 2. I was unaware that Troll 2 had nothing to do with Troll. And
Leprechaun 3.
yeah, Leprechaun 3.
So bad.
And so it's like, here's the thing. We looked it up, and they decided to rebrand the movie that ultimately became Troll 2 in order to capitalize, I'm going to air quote here, capitalize on the success of Troll, which I don't remember ever breaking any records, but whatever. And I'm wondering if Halloween 3 did the same thing. Like, I wonder if it just got plugged in to try to capitalize on the success of Halloween, just to watch it bomb anyway.
I don't know, but I think, like I said, for sure John Carpenter wanted to make an anthology series. He didn't direct that movie, but obviously he had a lot of say in it at that time, and so he wanted to make a Halloween themed anthology series. Now, obviously, that didn't pan out, and whether or not they did that just to try and capitalize on the money or not, who knows?
All right. Well, after the Thorn timeline, we get into H2O, which I am ashamed to admit was the first Halloween I ever actually watched myself. Was Halloween H2O?
It's not a bad one.
Well, yeah.
I liked it.
The H2O timeline. So now we're in a new timeline.
Yep.
H2O is Halloween 2, and then Halloween H2O. That's where it splits. For some reason, it splits at 2. Don't know why. Didn't make the rules. That's just how it goes.
It's just the
It'd
way it
be
rolled.
like that.
And Halloween H2O is
It's-
also not supposed to be H2O because it's fucking Halloween
Water?
20 years later.
Yeah, 20
is
years
the
later.
name of the movie.
It's Halloween
but
water.
But the way that they wrote it, it just looks like H2O. So everyone called it H2O. And then Halloween Resurrection following H2O is also part of that one.
It was 2003,
2002 for
2002.
Resurrection. Yeah.
Well, and this one is pretty much personified with a different take on Laurie's character. Laurie ends up 20 years later coming back, confronting Michael Myers, decapitating him in this grand scene, only to have it retconned immediately with Resurrection. And
Yeah, whereas like, it was a guy that had been kidnapped the whole time, and I was like, that final scene in H2O was like 4 or 5 minutes long. At some point, if I
Mhm.
was the guy that had been kidnapped, I'd have just been like, "Hey," like,
Yep. Well, and they reverse the script, right? In Resurrection, they come back and they kill Laurie's character after institutionalizing her. And it's like, man, they took a wild ride in the 20 years later timeline.
in Laurie's defense, if a supernatural mask-wearing, knife-wielding maniac had been chasing me for 20 years, I probably would also end up in an institution.
Yeah, you
I
ain't wrong
feel
about
like-
that.
I feel like that's of all the crash outs, that one seems pretty fair.
I would have just crossed the ocean. Really, that's what I
He'll
would've
walk
done.
it. He'll just walk. He'll
Yeah,
and
he'll
beat
walk
you and beat you there. He'll slow and steady wins the race, man.
I guess it really is. Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees were the ones that like they walk slowly and purposefully and still beat you to where you need to go.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's no running.
No running. And then we get into a fan favorite 2007 Rob Zombie's timeline.
I would say I don't know if it's
had
a fan
no
favorite, but I would say
idea
it's
Rob
controversial.
Zombie.
I actually love the Rob Zombie Halloween. I think they're really good. This is actually the only proper reboot, and then it
Starts
gets
from the
rid
very
of
beginning.
all of the all of the movies before, and it's just 2007 2009 I think, 2 movies, and I like it. I mean, they're a much more gritty origin story for Michael.
Yeah, they lean a lot more into the sociopathic child part
Yeah.
of the storyline. Because he's torturing animals. He ends up killing a nurse at a hospital.
Kills one of his sisters.
Well, I mean, that's always been Mike Myers' big thing anyway. When you start Halloween in '78, right? He kills his sister,
Yeah, sort of.
sort of.
Jesus.
Well, and we honestly we like to joke when we rewatch the original, right? Because his kitchen knife has the ability to just kill people. Like you poke them with it, it's like a D&D weapon already. You poke them and they just die. But yeah, so yeah, Rob Zombie took a much grittier. I would try to say tried to logic it a little bit more.
Changed the mask up too to like a paper mache
Oh, that's right.
plaster
He
looking
did do
mask
that.
too. Yeah.
I'm a fan. I enjoy those movies. I think they are quite good.
Rob Zombie
So-
makes good horror movies, which
That he does.
is not shocking, given his appearance in music videos and stuff when he was still making music. It's like,
But do you think that having all these different timelines affected the Halloween series in like a bad way? Like if you look, like Freddy did a little bit and Jason did a little bit, but a lot of it was
I
really
don't- I mean-
wild.
Go ahead, Travis.
I really don't think it impacted it at all, because you're gonna have good horror movies and bad horror movies in film series, because you have these ups and downs with it. They didn't go quite as wild as some other horror series. I'm gonna take a shot at Saw, which started off with one of the coolest premises, I think, for
Absolutely.
a horror movie, and then now we're on like Saw 14, and it just keeps getting more and more absurd on why this is still happening. Which again, you have to write something. But yeah, I think Halloween, as far as reboots, remakes, and alternate timelines, it's fine. Like, I don't think they've done bad.
The thing with the Halloween movies, and it's like you said, like all of the kind of slasher series have done. Maybe they didn't reboot timelines, right? But they've gotten over the top in a lot of times, and then they like reel it back or whatever. or they do remakes, or so it's like I don't think it really had any lasting impact per se. In fact, the Rob Zombie movies did pretty well. The 2018, the next timeline that we would talk about, the H40,
Yeah.
if you will, Blumhouse's films are actually like the best grossing
Mhm.
of the films, and which I think has
That
a
was-
lot to do with just Jamie. So this is okay. Blumhouse H40 is Halloween 1, and then Halloween 2018,
Mhm.
and then Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So they're just grading everything except for the first movie.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I think when it comes to horror movies in general, especially around spooky season themed movies, this there's definitely a edge in horror over a lot of other genres on if there's still milk in the cow, squeeze it out. And you see that a lot more with horror movies than you do nearly everything else, with the exception of maybe a few action
Fast and the
franchises.
Furious
Yeah.
movies.
Now I'm going to give a
Oh my
shout out
God.
to, we do have somebody in chat. Fanto5892 asked, is the Addams Family considered a movie for Halloween? I say absolutely. I watch it
Why
every
not?
Halloween. It gets into some weird technicalities. We may do an episode on what's a Halloween movie and what's not. I'll firmly stand that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie for people who love Halloween. I think Addams Family is great both for Halloween. Addams Family is great for Halloween and for Thanksgiving. If you watch, what was the second one called? Addams Family Values.
Adam's Family Values.
Yeah.
I think
and so
I was gonna say the better one he had was the comment he makes after that, where recent horror movies are not they're more into gore rather than spookiness. And
I
that's something I
disagree
hugely agree with.
wholeheartedly. No,
No,
I disagree wholeheartedly.
I'm
Wholeheartedly
gonna side with Bones on this one. There was a big swing where gore took over
Yes.
absolutely
in horror
true.
movies. Like that was a big problem. I want to say
The
like
Saw franchise, Hostel, the
yeah,
torture porn as they
Yeah.
come to call
Torture
it.
porn.
late 90s, early 2000s. They leaned
Yeah.
heavy in the gore aspect of horror.
Like, I mean,
I was never
look at the
gonna find
most
that, but like more recently, yeah, it's much
the
much
most
more on the spooky
like
side.
the scariest movies that are out now. You know, are Insidious, The Conjuring. Those aren't gory movies. Like barely anybody dies in most of them, if at all. Right? They are just scary movies. Also, if you want a really creepy movie, I saw one recently called Cobweb. Came out in 2023. Kind of. It came out right around the week before Barbenheimer, so it got really like just covered up.
Overlooked.
Nobody saw it. Right? Highly recommend it. Very creepy.
Well, and I think
Good
if
for
you're
spooky
looking
season.
for spooky season movies that try to go back to the original root of horror movies. Now, bear in mind, horror as a genre, there's not a lot of finesse in horror. Like, let's just be honest. They're there to make money and to scare people, and the way they go about doing that sometimes very easy, looking at jump scares and taboo material. However, I can recommend several A24 movies that I've been enjoying this spooky season,
Yeah, A24 is
including
good.
Nope and Get Out are both fantastic. On top of that, Death of a Unicorn has a little bit of gore in it, but not nearly as much as you see in most movies. Is absolutely
silly.
fantastic.
It's so silly.
It's so silly. Now, my last one is my personal favorite from my run this season. But it's a dread movie and it's long. I'm gonna warn you, it feels like it should end 3 or 4 times before it does. That's The Watchers by Shyamalan's daughter. I cannot remember her first name. Um, I really enjoyed Watchers, but Nope and Get Out are ones that I can definitely recommend if you're tired of the torture porn horror and need something a little bit more dread. It's a lot of fun.
Jaws will always be king for me on top of the
Jaws-
mountain. Jaws caused generational
Yeah.
trauma for people going into the ocean. Like for sure.
Yeah, I would say Jaws is up there with like here's the thing, it doesn't even have to be a good movie, right? You look at Final Destination, specifically Final Destination 2.
We don't
And
talk about those. They're scary.
people are still messed up by Final Destination. There are people that know the Final Destination tree jokes that have never seen the movie.
I cannot drive next to a log hauler on
Yeah,
the road. Like I don't care. I
I saw a TikTok and somebody's driving behind one, and it was like, man, it was like just like a truck bed with a bunch of fucking logs and just zipped or not fucking strapped down,
Yeah.
The person on the video is just like, "Do it! I'm ready. Do it."
I'm ready.
But you gotta give
Generational.
Final Destination does need a lot of credit, especially the first two, because
yeah.
they literally took little things that everybody's thought about and like just made it happen. Like, and then the premise of you avoid death by luck and then it just fucking hunts you down. Like that was really cool. But like all those little things they did to kill people was all those things that you think about like in your mind, like as radical. You're like, that shit'll never happen. And then you go and you watch this movie and you're like, no, that fucking happened. That's not
Yeah.
cool.
Inevitability is terrifying. Is what I'm gonna go with. Like running from the inevitable is just the peak of scare. But we're getting away from our Halloween
Yeah.
focus
Now-
here.
Actually, I think it's fairly apropos to discuss these other movies because Halloween, just like Jaws, just like Final Destination, it's known because it did something a little bit different from what all the other movies did. They did it simply, it was not flashy, but it really did spark off an entire subgenre of horror that I don't even know what to call it, 80s horror, I guess, that followed the same formulaic approach to we have a seemingly supernatural bad guy during a spooky time of the year, catching people in vulnerable positions. Final Destination, people forget that everybody makes fun of it because of all the wild deaths that happen in Final Destination, right? When you go back and watch the first Final Destination, that was the point. Like you watch the water move itself to the electricity. It was supposed to be
Oh, it's
supernatural
It's
elements.
death. Yes.
Yeah. I think that Halloween gave us everything for the invulnerable predator, and it leans into that kind of human pursuit predation, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
They're
pursuit
slow
predation.
and they'll wear you down. You can't get away from them. It's the immortal snail. And I think Halloween, just like Final Destination, just like Jaws, just like many of them, they did something new first. They took a risk on it, and then it became the pattern, the cookie cutter for several movies that followed. I would even, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think one of the things also that makes it iconic is that he's not using some sort of special weapon. I mean, you have
Yeah,
Jason Voorhees with the
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 machete.
machete. You have Freddy Krueger with the little knife fingers. You have various other horror people. I mean, doing different implementations. Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the chainsaws. This is a kitchen knife. Like this is a
Yep.
common thing that's found everywhere, and yeah. Which the kitchen knife stuff was inspired by Psycho from
hmm
the Hitchcock series, which again, it's just a kitchen knife. It's terrifying. They're everywhere.
Eric, what you got?
Okay. The next thing we got to bring it up real quick. So why do you guys think they never did a crossover or like a lot of crossovers with like Mike Myers? Like if you look like Jason and Freddy did a decent amount together, and like they're also in a lot of video games. But I can't think if they even put Mike Myers in like Mortal Kombat or anything.
So I have a couple of opinions on that. The first one is going to be because the ones that followed were all just ripping off Mike Myers. Like Jason Voorhees was just Mike Myers done by different people. But he became more popular because those movies leaned into, I'm going to call it cheap actually, leaned into a cheaper taboo with the vast amounts of naked teenagers out at the lake, and people gravitated towards the cheap thrill of seeing something they're not allowed to see. Halloween didn't do that. I mean, it did. We had a fair amount of nudity in Halloween,
I
but
was gonna
it
say,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely did. But they didn't lean into how obvious it was, like Friday the 13th did. I think that part of the thing that makes Mike Myers who he is as a character is the solo run. I don't think he would team up with people.
Mine's not even going to go into like lore, or who Michael Myers is, or the directors, or any of that stuff. Those movies, most of them, profitable. Uh, Even the ones that get bad reviews still at least came out close to even, I think, on production value. So they've never needed to do a collaboration to get views up. The Friday the 13th franchise went through some very, very rough patches of not having very financially successful films. Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. It had been a long time since they had made any of those. And so the collab with Freddy versus Jason was a good way to get viewership up onto horror icons. And Halloween's just never been in a position to where you need to gas up Michael Myers, because it's Michael Myers. He's known. Those movies have been making money.
Yeah, well, and
So-
they weren't shooting to make Michael Myers an icon, right? That's why they just called him The Shape.
Yeah, it's originally called The Shape. And he's named after a producer that helped John Carpenter on his first movie or second movie, Assault on Precinct 13, the original. But I think it's actually like more than that. Is most likely money and licensing, right? That's probably the real answer. He has been on several video games. He's been dead.
Yep.
He's Dead by Daylight. He's in Call of Duty. He is in Fortnite. So it's not like he hasn't
Everything's in
been in
Fortnite.
games.
I mean,
Yeah, I
actually,
don't count Fortnite.
we
Yeah,
have a new Halloween,
Magic the Gathering and Fortnite are racing for the most crossovers.
but we have a new Halloween video game coming out in 2026. That
There's already a Halloween video game itself, and then there's another one coming out.
I didn't realize there was an Atari Halloween game.
actually, yeah, that's a good point. If you can match up Freddy versus Jason, then Ghostface and Myers are a pretty decent matchup.
Ghostface is just a guy.
Yeah.
Myers is gonna just kill Ghostface. Like, he's just a guy. That's what's scary about Ghostface, is that he can beat anybody. That's the whole
he's just
point
a-
of those
just a
movies,
dude.
is that, like,
It's
it's
just a
always
dude.
a person that you know.
Well, I mean, anthropologically speaking, that's what these movies do, right? Since the beginning of time, we have resisted identifying that humans can be evil. We want to blame it on other stuff. We want to blame it on demons or, witches or curses or whatever. But ultimately,
Money.
it's always humans that are evil. We are the evil ones. And the horror movies in general give us something to latch onto that is supernaturally evil. Mike Myers is unkillable. Jason comes back out of the lake, but ultimately it's always the people that are evil. I mean, even you look at Friday the 13th.
Quick question though: who's the killer in the first Friday the 13th movie?
Oh, I know this one. Does anybody else?
It's the mom.
It's
Voorhees'
Mrs. Voorhees.
mother,
And
which
yes,
again, just a people.
Yep.
You know what's really funny though? I was just sitting here thinking about this. When you look at horror, like the mainstream horrors all have their kind of thing. Like Freddy would get you in your dreams. Ghostface was always a different person. But like when you look at Jason and Mike Myers, they didn't have like a shtick as much.
Oh, I
I don't
disagree.
think.
So what they
Like-
did was they punished misbehaving teenagers. I mean, even from the first one in Halloween, when he kills his sister, it's because she was supposed to be watching him, decides to have sex with her boyfriend upstairs instead. Jason
Yeah, I
comes
guess,
out,
yeah.
and originally the whole point of Friday the 13th was that Jason was killed and allowed to drown by all the camp counselors because they were off doing drugs and having sex. And his mother comes back and murders them in revenge. And so now in the later sequels, that's what Jason does. You want to go ahead and go drink some alcohol and get naked with somebody by the lake, Jason's going to get you for it. They punish promiscuity in teens.
Oh,
I didn't think of it like that.
to answer a question that we had in chat, my favorite death scene in Final Destination, all of them,
Ooh,
is Final Destination 5, the uneven bars death scene.
nice.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, my favorite death scene in Final Destination. Okay, I think it's in 4, and it's when they're at the drive-through and the car gets rear-ended and the whole engine block comes up with the fan and hits the dude in the back of the head. Because
That's terrifying.
I mean, there's no way it would ever happen with an aluminum fan blade unless death made it, right? And so I love the absurdity of what had to happen to make that guy die in that scene.
Jesus.
The log truck is still going to be the one for
Yeah.
me.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, it seriously still ignites real fear in me when I'm driving behind. I see one, I'm just like,
Yeah, I
I'm
get
getting
no
around
left
this
lane.
motherfucker. I don't care if I get pulled over.
Hey, so fun
Yeah.
anecdote real quick. The reason the fan kill is my favorite, right? So I had just watched Final Destination. I want to say it was 4, but don't quote me. It might have been actually 3. I'd watch it like 2 days before I was helping my dad in the shop. And my dad ended up accidentally running his hand, all 4 fingers, through the gearbox of a Harley. It had gotten stuck in the chain. He ran it all the way through the gearbox. Mangled his hand like crazy. And for some reason, those 2 things happening so close together in my head cemented it as a like teeth on wheels is bad.
Yeah, that'll do it. It's the real world things that get you. Like I said, Jaws was, and my dad being the person he is, makes me watch horror movies before I went through like major events in my life. So the first time we went to the ocean was on a trip to Padre Island, Texas, and my dad was like, "We should watch Jaws." And so we watched Jaws like 4 days before I went and visited the ocean.
Oh no,
Fuck that.
I'm a
Yeah,
terrible person.
Oh yeah, that's just the way he was. And then I went to Mississippi for a like relief effort after a hurricane, or it was like tornadoes or something. I can't remember what it was. We were helping redo roofs for families in need, and my father made me watch Deliverance, and so I was terrified of hill folk, which I still kind of am terrified of hillbilly folk, like just deep in the
Yeah.
swamp. Like I like all, and like again, I had just had my braces taken off, my teeth were great, and all I can think of is you got a pretty mouth on your city boy, and I'm like, oh, like I'm out of it. This is it.
Bones, you've had your hand up for a while. What's up?
Oh, that was from earlier. I forgot to lower it.
So actually, Travis, I do the same thing to this day. So my roommate not too long ago went to Antarctica.
You're a terrible father. Your kids are like 12.
And so we all sat down to watch The Thing, right? Because she was going to Antarctica. But
Are you
this
sure it
has
was her
been-
that came back?
no. But this has been something that's been going on in my family forever. One of the first horror movies I ever saw was actually Lost Boys. Now I don't remember because I was like itty bitty child, but my dad took my mom to a drive-in theater in a convertible to go see Lost Boys in the red Challenger. And so all the vampires coming down on top of the convertible in the movie had my mom freaking out the whole way home.
Little known fact: the reason that was always a convertible is because your dad never got the top fixed to close back all the way. Everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool, he's got a convertible," and I was like, "Only a convertible."
Yeah, knowing my dad, he did something stupid to the engine and blew the roof off and was like, "It's a convertible now."
Okay, that's a good question though. What was everybody's first horror movie?
Okay, I know the first one I remember is what I'm going to go with.
Jaws was the first horror movie I ever watched.
So mine was Pumpkinhead.
Ooh, good one.
That is a good one.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it's either Leprechaun or Chucky. Child's Play.
Child's Play.
It's one
Child's-
of those two.
nice.
I remember watching them basically around the same time.
I-
I don't know which one was first, but I was scared of small people for a long time.
Fun,
believe it.
Fun story. My sister's first horror movie was actually a made-for-TV horror series, and it was It. And my sister
Oh.
binge watched it with all of her friends in a house that was decorated with clowns.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, you want to talk about watching a horror movie on hard mode? Like,
Yeah.
I
That's
think
that's
mine's
going to watch.
Leprechaun.
Is Leprechaun your first?
I think
Leprechaun's
so,
solid.
actually.
Again, if you guys want a good yuck and watch a horror movie, like if you just want to watch a really bad horror movie, Leprechaun 3 is the way to go.
The Leprechaun
All of the Leprechaun movies,
franchise.
or the
Yeah.
Wishmaster movies too. They're
You know what? So actually, you brought up Child's Play and Wishmaster. I'm gonna bring in. It's not a horror movie, but Small Soldiers. That leads back to the joke of like all of these kids nowadays. When we were young, if our kids came to life, it wasn't Toy Story. It's like they were going to kill you and your family.
Yeah.
Child's Play was one of the first ones that I watched that like legitimately scared me. Right? I thought the Child's Play was wild. And to tie it back into, I guess, our topic now that we've been on other horror movies for 20 minutes, Child's Play compared to Halloween was almost a dichotomous horror movie because in Halloween we got very little information, whereas in Child's Play they explained everything down to the serial killer and the voodoo rituals and the whole 9 yards. Like-
Ade due demdala.
Astu Verata.
Speaking of classic bad horror movies,
But
Yeah,
The
I feel
Chin.
like with
After-
Halloween though, I don't think he knew what he had when he made it.
oh,
I think that's
absolutely not.
really the biggest thing. So
I-
that's why there wasn't much backstory to it. Because think about it, every time you fucking watch a series, they do the backstory for like the first fucking half an hour of the movie, and it's like, let's just fucking get to it. So it was nice to see, man. John Carpenter, from the movies I can think of, he has a way of just jumping into shit. Like John Carpenter's
Absolutely.
vampires. I love that. I didn't need a bunch of fucking backstory about everything they did in their lives. He put in a little bit of backstory as it went through the movie that you needed, and that was fucking it, dude. They were just vampire killers that enjoyed drinking and having relations with women. That made it a great movie.
And it really depends on, I think, the series or the film itself. I don't mind getting a backstory if I need to understand the backstory to understand the plot later on. You get just enough of Michael Myers to go, oh, sociopath, right? That's it. That's all you need to know about serial killers. Sociopath. All right, we're set, right? So his backstory doesn't need to be elaborate. He's a knife wielding maniac that wears a creepy mask. We're set.
Done.
Others, you need more like setup. You need more backstory. You need more information to understand the motivations or whatever of it, or why these things are happening, other than just supernatural being has decided to eat people. Which,
I mean,
again,
I think
horror
that
movie,
I think
but
that a lot of horror movies like cold open with just crazy shit happening, and you don't get the story until like as the movie progresses.
Oh yeah, Dark Water is exactly like that. You get a bunch of them actually.
The
yeah,
Mist,
most of
The Mist,
which
yeah,
you don't really get an explanation for. But
yeah. You have to know.
hey, you can watch that
the,
movie if you want to feel good about yourself at the end.
The
Oh my
Mist. You
God.
have to understand the entire King multiverse to understand what's going on in the Mist.
the ending of the book is way worse.
Oh yeah, it is.
Is it really? I've never actually read the
Any-
Mist, so
If a Stephen King horror movie gets made from a book, watch it and go, that's terrifying. Read the book and realize that it could be way worse.
we do have Fanto in chat chimed in with Train, the movie. Anybody familiar with Train, the horror movie?
Nope.
Ooh, I don't think
I was
say
gonna
I
make
know
it.
that
I was
one.
gonna make it like a juvenile joke, but I'm gonna rein that one in.
That one I do not know, and there's not very many horror movies that I do not know. Looks like it was
Can you
2008
imagine like
slasher.
a Thomas the Tank? Like,
They made a video game not too long ago that was a Thomas the Tank Engine runs you down horror game.
But
Well, funny enough, there's actually a movie called Terror Train that came out in 1980 that starred Jamie Lee Curtis.
No kidding.
she was the original Scream Queen, dog.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, guess. I
If
guess.
not the original, one of the originals.
Yeah,
you know, one
I
of the
mean,
very
I'll
early
give her
ones.
one of the yeah.
She
actually-
got that OG status for horror films.
Oh, all right. So I went ahead and Googled it just for the sake of it, right? Apparently, the original Scream Queen is Faye Rye from King Kong. And all right, like, hard to dispute that one.
King Kong's not a horror movie to me.
Well,
It
and that's
was
kind of
for the-
But she
it was
screamed
for
a
the-
lot.
You can talk
That's
about
true.
like what horror movies are and what
Yeah.
they have been, right? Like they're not the same now as they were 50 years ago, right? Like
Yeah,
they're very
You're
different.
talking King Kong was 1933.
a
Moving
monster movie.
Pictures was a yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
monster movies are all kind of by definition horror movies.
That's fair.
Yeah, I guess the creature feature is definitely within the horror genre specifically.
No,
Now,
that
are they
fits.
scary? Not necessarily.
Depends on the creature.
Y'all got a favorite
all right.
creature feature before we
Cocaine
move on to the
bear.
next? Nice.
Critters.
Cocaine Bear. Dude,
Critters.
I love Cocaine Bear. That
Critters
movie
is the
Oh, what
best.
good.
was? No, you got to go with what was that one where they came out like? Hold on, I'll find it.
Oh, while he's going into that, I don't know if it's a creature feature specifically, but I'm gonna go with Brendan Fraser, 1999, The Mummy, because it's still one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Not scary at all, but is a creature feature.
Can't believe you guys didn't love Cocaine Bear as much as I did. That movie
I
is
love
so
Cocaine Bear.
absurd.
Dude, we watched Cocaine Bear I think last year, and we got into a absurd horror premise kind of run. So we watched Cocaine Bear, we watched Zombievers, we watched Black Friday, and so I enjoyed Cocaine Bear. I was not expecting to. I was in the middle of watching a bunch of movies that were absolutely terrible. And I think Cocaine Bear actually kind of holds up for such a
That's got-
ridiculous
Dreamcatcher.
premise.
It's got like a
Ooh, Stephen King
65%.
again.
No, the Dreamcatchers.
Dream-
Is it? Yeah, I guess they're aliens. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll
The
count
weird
aliens
things
as a
that
creature
shoot
feature.
out of your ass.
Oh, what
Like,
about
that's
faculty?
awful.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Dude, faculty and disturbing behavior as teachers are the bad guys horror, so good.
If you like
Okay, so we-
teachers are the bad guy horror, one that falls under similar genre is the Library Police. And I still won't go get a library card.
All right, we are coming up on 1 hour, guys. So for those of you that have listened this far, obviously you're liking what you're hearing from me and my friends. We're gonna go ahead and ask you one more time. Give us a like, give us a comment down below. We would love to hear your thoughts on horror movies, your favorite horror movies, and your favorite creature features, and anything that we might have missed in the Halloween franchise. And most importantly, give us a follow, guys, because we know the way.
Special shout out to this last comment from our viewer. Best adult horror right now is more afraid of financial problems than horror movie, and I'm like, accurate.
Straight facts.
So
Yeah,
accurate.
straight facts.
All right, so
it's your
our next
four
episode-
taxes. Ah! Oh,
Our next episode, we've done it a few times. So we're going to try to think of a different way to do it before Thursday. We're going with Commerce of the Nerds. So we're going to try to think of a different way to do it. But I'll post something on socials throughout the week and just kind of update people what we're going to do. I'm not sure how. We're not sure how we'll handle it. It'll probably be more of a help you buy for like Black
Yeah.
Friday type stuff.
Like a nerd marketplace kind of thing.
we've had to
Yeah.
put in a pin to the one topic that I did just an unfathomable amount of research on, and that's been the flops and failures. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
I have so much information to share with everyone because I did like 2 weeks worth of research. Because one, I did it way too early, and then we had to pivot the other week. So once we get to that one, I'm gonna have so much cool stuff to tell you guys.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll hit the Commerce and then we'll do flops right after it. We'll
No, we
slide
have to-
everything after.
We have to do life after wrestling. I've got guys scheduled.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's true.
Chris and Scott will be joining us for life after wrestling.
They did fantastic.
Okay,
in
so
the last
yeah.
run, so
Commerce, then wrestling, and then flops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. But anyways, yeah, so Commerce, throw some ideas of things you're interested in.
absolutely. Yeah, anybody listen to this, if you have any kind of nerdverse fandom, anything that maybe you don't understand or you want to purchase somebody else, throw us a comment down below and we'll cover it in the Commerce kind of nerd marketplace deal to tell you how and what to buy and what we recommend.
And with that, we're going to bring this episode to a close. We are crossing the Nerdverse, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys.
Yeah, I gotta go eat dinner.
Bye.
It's nice to see